Sunday 8th of June. When it's raining outside and you need to get painting done, well, I might as well use my dining room. Dining room's been used for lots of things, storing things. It's never been used for a bloody meal, and now it's being used so I can paint when it's raining outside. Fantastic. Hint of sarcasm there. Saturday 14th, minor update time. On Thursday I had my garden round and finally we've got fences on the alleyway, and they're pretty good fences as well. They're pretty sturdy ones. Oh, here comes a train. Fantastic. There you go, that's how close they are. Regarding painting, well, I've made a start. I've got two of the side panels, are 10 panels in total, two of the side panels half painted. That's the roof, all of that half painted. Underneath there we've got all the support, the underneath, that's fully painted, as is the flooring and the roof extensions. But I've still got another two big panels there to do fully, another three there, and then of course the three, which is the door and the two windows, but they're heavy as hell and I shall do them last. Someone asked me what paint colours am I using, what actual paints I'm using. I believe I am using for the fences, Cuprinol shade, Garden Shades I think it's called. That's Coastal Mist, the blue, and the greeny sort of colour that I'm using for the shed and everything else I'm painting is Seagrass. Wednesday, June 18th, and even more painting completed, but it's taken a while, but it's getting there. And outside, the three main panels, this is the windows and the doors, still need doing. We've got one more side panel to do there. We've still got all that wood down there to do. That's the joins for the wood, for the flooring and the roofing. What we've got there, 5 panels. I think it's 5, or is it 6? No, it's 5. 5 panels there, half painted. All the support for the base, that's fully painted with all the bits on the sides. That's all the flooring and some roof parts fully painted, half painted. Fully painted roof panels. So I hate painting with a passion, and this is starting to drive me nuts. Additional, still got to do the bloody fence panels as well. God damn it. Monday, June the 23rd, and I've got this week off, so this is going up this week. The windows and doors have been painted. The door's not completely painted, needs another coat on the front, but I'll do that when it's in situ. All the floorboards now have been screwed together. I'm trying to get this out to get the sun on it, but those are 7-foot lengths. The garden's in a right bloody mess at the moment. I've got bits of wood everywhere. So these are all the walls without windows and doors. They're all fully painted. The roof's fully painted. But I've just put the base down, and my god, this is going to be big. I'm waiting for the sun to go down, as I want to recheck out the angles I need to cut underneath it to get it flat, because as I mentioned before, there's a slight slope from that corner down there to this corner. There's angles on all of it. I want to remeasure that, but I've got that wood there to cut at the angles to put underneath it. I'm going to put 7, so that's 1 under each of the main joins, then 1 in the middle, so that's 7 parts, but they're all going to be cut at slightly different angles, so that's going to be the circular saw. Oh fantastic, here comes a train. Say hello to the passengers. I've got to empty this water butt. It's full of water at the moment. I need to pump that out so I can put that on the slab at the back. Obviously I need to do that before I start building anything, but tomorrow I think is going to be using the angles I measured tonight to cut the wood, paint it, which shouldn't take long in this weather. I mean, it's blazing hot again. and then screw it all together, at which point then the floorboards can go down. So I'm hoping by close of play tomorrow the floor and the base will be completely done. But that's 12 by 7. Now the concrete slab looked big, but when you put those bits of wood on, yeah, the actual base is absolutely freaking huge. I might have bitten more off than I can chew, but we'll see. Tuesday, 24th of June, and finally the base is now in place. It took a while. I had to cut all the bits at the bottom because each one's at a unique angle. For example, that one on the end there is 13 high, whereas at the other side it's 6 high. That's just due to this slope from one side to the other. The back is just as bad, but a lot less. It's all essentially leaning this way, but it's in place, not fully screwed in yet. But tomorrow, all things being good, the walls and the roof will be up. I'm not going to do the felt tomorrow. I don't think I'll have time for the felt, but still got some things to work out. I'm still not quite convinced about the way the felt joins the rest of the roof. But yeah, we've had a bit of a day with the sawing. Circular saw at 8:30 in the morning. I'm sure my neighbours loved that, but there you go. That is life. But getting there, one step closer. Time for an update on the circuit boards for the pump house, and they've all arrived now finally. I've got 6 boards here to show, well 5.5 really. The way I'm doing it is so, the first board is this. Now this will have a Raspberry Pi on this connector here, so a Raspberry Pi Zero I should note, so that's going to be providing the basics of the main drive of this. It's, you know, running a Linux operating system, running Apache so I can interface with it with my phone or whatever. Now, one of the problems with the Pi is it has no onboard battery backup. So what happens if power fails? How's it going to know what the time is? Therefore, I've added this component, this placement here. Now, I could have just used a real-time battery, but that's no good. That's not over-engineered enough as far as I'm concerned. So instead, I'm sticking on there an Adafruit GPS module. So as soon as the power is on, it will resynchronize with the time every single time. Additional to that, there's a level shifter here because the Pi is only used to 3 volt logic. So this will allow me to convert the I2C bus or the 2-wire interface from 3 volt logic to 5 volt logic, which then goes out onto all these connectors here. Now, I've got 3 exactly the same. The 4th one is the same as the other 3, except it's got an additional interrupt interface. I'll get to that in a moment. Now, I've also added to this the ability for 2 one-wire devices to be attached. So I'm thinking 2 thermometers of some sort. And I've also got a huge connector along here with various breakout ports. Now, there's no power supply coming into this, and the reason is that's on the second board, which has the exact same connector, so these boards will stack one on top of the other. On this board, we've got essentially a Teensy 4.0. What is a Teensy? It's the same as an Arduino, but an Arduino on steroids. It runs a lot faster and it's got a lot more I/O. I'm not using half of the I/O, but this will enable me to have, first of all, along the top here, we've got all these pins which will be used for an analog source, so I can read up to 6 analog devices at once. These will be things like the pressure sensors and other bits and bobs which I haven't discussed yet. I'll get to those at a later date. Then we've also got, get into focus, you bugger, get in there. Oh, right, well along the bottom here anyway, we've also got 6 digital sensors. These will be for simple pulse logic. Why isn't that focusing? There we go. Got 3, which is for 3 flow devices. Well, we've only got 2, we're only going to be using 2, but I've added a 3rd one in there anyway. These will be operating at 5 volts, and again, the Teensy only likes 3 volt logic, so this will enable 5 volt devices to talk to the 3 volt through this additional circuitry here. Then we've actually got some direct digital inputs, which I'm assuming will be 3 volt. That's for a future expansion if I ever need to. We've got on the side here a a module which is going to take in the raw 12 volt from the battery and to convert that to 5 volt. That 5 volt then is the power for this board, and of course the board with the part and the compute board. So these two will essentially stack. That's those two done. I mentioned before on the compute board there's an extra interrupt pin. What's that for? Well, that goes onto the keypad, which is 2 circuit boards, which is this one. The idea is that we have a traditional Arduino on here, so that's a 80 Mega 328p chip with the in-circuit system program. We've got the ability for 16 LEDs to denote the 16 relays that's going to be controlled by it. The connection comes in on the COM one, but it also has the ability to talk to an I2C display. I'm looking at a 40 by 4 LCD display at the moment, so there's the ability to have physical display. Then on the side here, we've got another load of connectors and a serial. Well, the serial is just for debugging purposes, but the other connector, that is 9 pins if I remember correctly, and those 9 pins go onto this board. And this is my switchboard, quite literally a board of switches. So we've got 16 normal switches and then 4 for various functions that I've decided I'm going to be using, whether I want to switch on individual relays or not, or individual presets, or switch this from automatic to manual. That's what that's going to be covering. The last 2 circuit boards are this very small one. This one, again, takes the I2C interface there, the 2R interface, and connects with an I2C expander to drive the 16 relays per board. Now, these I can have multiple of these. The chip that goes on here has got 3 address pins, so you can have up to 8 on the same 2R interface. And I've got the ability to change the addressing by just adding solder onto one of these points. Binary code can tell it which device changes the address slightly, so I can use more than one on the bus. I can actually use 8. So that's those devices. And finally, the most boring board of all. This is quite simply a fuse board. So I can have the 12 volt coming in from the battery, and then I can have the 12 volt coming out to whatever, and each whatever, shall we say, can then be fused. So if there's a problem with one of them, in theory the fuse will blow, to try and protect the circuits and protect the battery. And that's that.